Hello everyone, welcome to Voxcel. In this video, we're gonna discuss Burlington Book 2 Test 1 Reading Passage 1. So, without further ado, let's dive right in. So, if you are familiar with our ritual, with our routine, you know what we do first. Yes, we read the title of the passage. So, the title here says The Endurance and the Merry Rose. So, from the title, I haven't heard about the Endurance, but I have read something about Mary Rose. It was the name of a ship, or it is the name of a ship, rather. So, I believe Endurance should also be a name of a ship, something like that, because they have been connected and both have separate article. So, I believe something like that. But when we will read the paragraph, we will know more about that. So what we're gonna do right now is we are not gonna read the paragraph just yet. First, we will see the questions, what kind of questions we are dealing with, make a strategy, and then we will start reading the paragraph. So we have questions 1 to 13 for our reading passage 1. All right. So questions 1 to 5. So our first five questions we have to write true, false, not given for that. All right. For questions 6 to 9, let me change the color. So we have to match the correct ending with each the questions, like when the Mary Rose sang. So whatever ending suits the best, like A, B, C, D, whatever, we will write that particular option in front of it. And 10 to 13, again let me change the color, we have to write no more than two words, so we have to fill in the blanks basically. So no more than two words means we can write maximum of two words, but one word can also be our answer. It's not like for every word, for every question you have to write two words every time. Maybe all the questions may have two words as their answer, but maybe some question will have one word as its answer. Okay, so moving on. So we're gonna do is we're gonna read the we have some. So there are like two or three things that we can do, or two or three strategies that we can make. First is we can do just like sequence wise solve these five questions, then these four questions, and then the remaining four questions. You can do like this. Or second thing you can do is you can read the first like paragraph. Okay, then let's see if there is any answer to this particular question, or any of these particular questions, or this particular set of questions, or this. So it's up to you, whatever strategy you are comfortable with, you can follow that particular strategy. Or you can read the first question of this particular set, first question of this particular set, and first question of this particular set. And then whatever information is, when whichever information you find first, you can solve that particular question first. Okay, it's up to you, whatever you are comfortable with. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the like first question of this set, then we will read the first question of this set, and then first question of this set. If it is too difficult for you to remember, you can also do is read the first paragraph, or the just first question of this set, and then read the first paragraph. So if you are able to find this particular question in this particular paragraph, then obviously you will be able to move to the second question. And then after finding the first question, then you can go sequence wise. I hope it is clear. So let's start our paragraph. First we will read this particular question. No one knows what happened to the endurance. So this information, wherever this information is, when it will be true, when nobody knows, no one knows means not even a single person knows what happened to the endurance. So obviously endurance will be some thing, or name of a person. So nobody knows what happened to endurance. If that is the case, our answer will be true. If someone knows, even single person knows like this thing happened to endurance, our answer will be false. And if we don't know like whether this information is known to somebody or not, if it is not given, then the answer will be not given. Clear? So for the second set, when the Mary Rose sang, okay, wherever the in, Information of sinking of Mary Rose, we will read it then. These options we will read it then. And 10th, the Mary Rose was raised with the help of specially designed. Okay, sorry about that. Let me change the color. So there's now here we have to find the information when the Mary Rose was raised, basically out of water, because here they are saying Mary Rose sank. So it sank in water, obviously sunk in water. Here they are saying it was raised, so it was taken out of water. So wherever it is written like this ship was taken out of water, we will find the information there. So now first we will concentrate on the first paragraph and see what kind of information we have. In March 2022, Sir Ernest Shackleton's ship the Endurance. All right, so we are clear from here that Endurance is the name of the ship of this particular person, Sir Ernest Shackleton. Was discovered in the Weddell Sea 107 years after it had sunk, destroyed by sea ice while attempting to land crossing of Antarctica. So they're saying that this particular person's ship Endurance, it was discovered again in this particular sea, Weddell Sea, 107 years after it was sunk. Okay, it had sunk. Who like sunk it? Why it sunk? Because it was destroyed by sea ice when while it was attempting to do a land crossing of Antarctica. The story of the miraculous escape and survival of the crew meant that news of the well preserved wreck's discovery was met with much excitement among historians and the sailing community. Okay, so they're saying that the story of this miraculous escape and survival of the crew meant the news was well preserved, and well preserved wreck's discovery was met with much excitement among historians and the sailing community. Okay, so now we have found our answer to this particular question. We have found the location. I'm not gonna like tell you much about it, but this location is somewhere here. Hmm, okay, this location is somewhere here. I'm not gonna just tell you, spoon feed you a lot. So you will have, okay, I forgot to tell you. Uh, for every question, you will get around 5 seconds to tell me the answer. But if you need more time than that, you can pause the video, and when you are ready with your answer, you can continue. So your 10 seconds start now. Okay, time's up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write the answer here and see whether you arrived at the correct answer or not. And the answer is false. I hope you got the correct answer. If not, don't worry. I will tell you why it is false and where the location is. Okay. So why it is false? Because here it is written destroyed by this. Let me just mark the location here, then I will tell you why it is this particular answer. So why it is false? Because the question is saying no one knows what happened to the Endurance. Basically it says like whatever happened to Endurance, no one, not even a single person knows about it. But here they are saying that it was destroyed by sea ice while attempting a land crossing of Antarctica. So, if nobody knows what happened to Endurance, so how they can say it was destroyed by sea ice while doing something? So obviously, and second, they are saying that the story of miraculous escape and survival of the crew meant that the news of this, and I will just mark it here, and the story of escape and survival of the crew. So miraculous escape and survival of the crew. They will obviously crew who are crew members, the members who were on board of that particular ship, who were boarding that ship. So if they escaped, obviously everybody, or they would have told other person what happened to that particular ship. I hope it is clear. Okay, let's see. We haven't read anything about Mary Rose sank and nothing about Mary Rose was raised. So obviously these locations we don't have right now. So we will read the question number 2. The Endurance was harder to locate than other shipwrecks. So they are saying that this particular ship, it was harder to locate than other shipwrecks. So obviously we may have found other shipwrecks, but they were easier to find than this particular ship Endurance. So because it might have been in depth of the sea where there were no there where it was difficult to reach, something like that. But other shipwrecks, they were on the seabed where it was easier to reach. So if that is the case, the answer will be true. But if it was not harder, in fact it was easier, or the level of hardship was same, the answer will be false. I am again gonna repeat it. When it will be false, it will be false under two conditions. First will be either it was easier than other ships to locate, or the level of difficulty was same. If that is the case, in either case the answer will be false. When it will be not given, when there is no comparison, like whether the ships were easier to find or whether it was more difficult to find. When there is no comparison, then the answer will be not given. I hope it is clear. Moving on to further paragraph, we will read further the story of this. Okay. The Falklands Maritime Heritage Trust FMHT, who found the vessel, emphasized both the difficulty of the mission and remarkable condition of the Endurance after more than a century underwater. So this particular organization found the ship, and they were talking about the difficulty of the mission and the condition of the ship, remarkable condition. The wreck was quickly declared a designated monument under the International Antarctic Treaty. The non-intrusive expedition will not remove anything from the ship, will instead but instead will document and film the finds, which include Shackleton's undamaged cabin. So they're saying that this particular thing was designated as monument under this particular treaty. So they will not remove anything from the ship, but instead what they will do is they will document and make movies on it, or on what, on the finds of like which include the undamaged cabin of Shackleton's. Okay, so there is okay, we don't have anything about comparison. So let's see the third question. FMHT plan to bring objects to the surface. Okay, there is something about bringing. Okay, so obviously here it is written as the difficulty thing, and here is the FMHT, here is the endurance. So this is our location. So you have some time to tell me the answer of this, and your time starts now. Till I'm going to write the location here. Okay, time's up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write the answer here and see whether you were able to tell me the correct answer. The answer is not given. I hope you were able to find out the answer. Why it is not given? Because there is no comparison. So there is talk of difficulty, but it is the difficulty of the mission. It is not saying that it was more difficult to locate than other shipwrecks. So there was no comparison with any other shipwrecks that was or that were found in the sea. So we don't know whether it was easier or more difficult to locate Endurance. That's why the answer will be not given. I hope it is clear. Moving on to the third question. The FMHT Okay, this is the organization we have read about. Plan to bring objects to the surface as soon as possible. So they are saying that this particular organization, it wants to bring objects to the surface of the sea, obviously, as soon as it is possible. So they want to do it quickly. If this is the case, like if they are planning to take the surface out from the sea to the surface as soon as possible, then the answer will be true. But if they do not intend to do this, their intention is something else other than bringing the objects to the surface, the answer will be false. And if we don't know about their intention, like what they want to do further, the answer will be not given. So let's read again. The wreck was quickly declared a designated monument under the International Antarctic Treaty. The non intrusive expedition will not remove anything from the ship but instead will document and film the finds, which include Shackleton's undamaged cabin. Okay, so obviously our answer, let me do this, is in these two particular sentences. I'm not gonna tell you the exact location just yet. It's up to you to find out that and tell me the answer whether it is true, false, or not given. And your 10 seconds start now. Okay, time's up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write the answer here first, and the answer to this is false. Why it is false? Can somebody tell me? Yes, because here they have they have written, this is the non-intrusive expedition. It will not remove anything from the ship. And what it will do, it will document and film the finds, which include undamaged cabin as well. So they are not planning to sorry, they are not planning to remove anything from the ship. Just they want to document those particular things, basically make records of those particular things and make movies or make films about those finds, those things that they found on the ship, which include Shackleton's undamaged cabin as well. I hope it is clear. So in this particular paragraph, we haven't read anything about Mary Rose. So in these two questions, these two questions are about Mary Rose. So obviously our location is not here in the first paragraph of these two questions. So now what we're going to do is we're going to read the fourth question. The condition of the endurance will degenerate in the future. So they are saying that the condition of this particular ship endurance, it will degenerate in the future. So what does degenerate means? In degenerate means, yes, it will become worse. Okay, the things will get like bad. Okay, worse, it will get worse. So if that is the case, like the condition will get worse in the future, the answer will be true. But if the condition will not deteriorate, we need to say it may, okay, it can do two things. It may remain the same or it may improve in the future. The answer will be false. But if we don't know what will happen to this particular ship endurance in the future, whether its condition will remain the same or it will become like bad, more bad, or it will become better, the answer will be not given because we don't know what will happen to this. So let's see. Many shipwreck enthusiasts and historians assumed the next step after the discovery of such an important ship would be to raise it, preserving the historic vessel for future generations to admire. So they're saying that many enthusiasts, shipwreck enthusiasts, and historians, what they assume that the next step, obviously the logical step is after this discovery is to raise the ship. So mean to say take it out of the water so that they can preserve the historic vessel to for the future generations to admire, so that future generations can see this particular vessel or ship. While the endurance has survived a century underwater, it is inevitable that it will decay unless it is raised. Okay, so we have found the location, and our location is in this particular sentence. So I have narrowed it down for you. Now you have to tell me whether the answer to this should be true, false, or not given. Your time starts now. Okay, time's up. I'm gonna write the answer here. And the answer to this question is true. Let me mark the location, then I will explain why it is true. This is, sorry about that. This is question number 4. So, why it is true? If you were able to tell me the correct answer, can you tell me why it's true, not false, or not given? Yes, because here it is saying that it is inevitable that it will decay. So in the future they have referred it will decay means the condition will get bad. Okay, the condition will worsen until it is or unless it is raised. Until unless it is not raised, the condition underwater will worsen. So although while it has survived a century, but in the future the condition will get even bad, more bad, you can say. I hope it is clear. Are you getting my point? So moving to the next question, fifth. There is not enough money available to lift the whole ship. Okay, so not enough money. So if there is not enough money to lift the whole ship, the answer will be true. But if we have enough money to raise the ship, okay, the answer will be false. But if we don't know about the amount of money we have, whether it is sufficient or not, the answer will be not given. Let's see what kind of information is provided. However, it seems increasingly unlikely that this will happen. So they're saying that it is not looking possible that we will raise the ship. One reason is that the ship's owner, Sir Ernest's granddaughter, Alexandra Shackleton, is against the move. So, what is the one reason for this? That the ship's owner is against the move. Another may be the progress made with documenting underwater sites through 3D images and recordings. And what is the other reason? Other reason is we have made a lot of progress. Doing like documenting underwater sites through 3D images and recordings. It could be argued that the knowledge contained in the shipwrecks can be accessed without the need for costly recovery operations like that of Mary Rose, which cost over £8 million from its discovery in 1971 to its raising in 1982. The story of that ship and the long and complex process of recovering it might explain why there was some resistance to raising the endurance. So they are saying that this particular thing. Okay, so obviously they are saying that this is our location. Here it is about Mary Rose. Okay, from however to the recordings. So this is our location. So you have some time to tell me whether the answer should be true, false, or not given. And your time starts now. Okay, time's up. And I'm going to write the answer here first. And the answer to this is, drum roll please, not given. I hope you got the correct answer. Let me mark the location first, then I will explain why it's not given. Okay, so why it is not given? Because we don't have anything on money. So they have given two reasons. One reason is that the owner is reluctant, and second is the progress of like digital recordings. But whether money is an issue or not, we don't know. Neither they have given that these are the only two reasons. Like apart from these two reasons, we don't have any other reason to be not doing this. So they have said like one reason is this, like I don't think so it will happen, because one reason is this and another can be this. But what about money? Is that an issue or not? We don't know anything about that. So because we have no information, we don't have any concrete information whether money is an issue or not, we cannot say true or false for sure. So that's why the answer to this will be not given. I'm again repeating it. Yes, there are two reasons given, but they have not mentioned anywhere in the text or in the passage that these are the only two reasons. So, because of that, there can be another reason which may include money or which may not include money. We don't know anything about that, so we will say not given. Okay. Other thing is, they have said the operation is costly for the recovery of Mary Rose, or Mary Rose operation was costly, but there is nothing again mentioned about now, like whether this particular person Alexandra Shackleton has enough money or not, or something like that. We don't know anything about that. That's why the answer will be not given. Hope it is clear. I hope you're getting my point. Moving on to the next. Okay, so till now we have completed all the first five questions. Okay, so now we have to focus from 6 to 9 and then 10 to 13. Okay, so we have to focus on 6 to 9 and 10 to 13. Let me do this. So here is when Mary Rose sank. So we have to see whether there is anything about Mary Rose sinking. Here is about Mary Rose. Let me change the color first. So here is something about Mary Rose, but there is nothing when Mary Rose sank. We don't know. Here is they're saying that it was discovered because it was already sank, and now and it took how much it costed to raise it. Okay, so let's read further. When Mary Rose sank, when Mary Rose guns were found. So here we have to find about guns. When Mary Rose was rediscovered. Okay. S- And ninth question, after the foundation of the Mary Rose Trust. So what happened after the foundation of the Mary Rose Trust? Okay, 10 to 13, raised with the help of, specifically designed. Okay, I will change the color later on. A number of heavy dash were positioned, bolts, and we haven't read anything about that. Okay, okay. So if you are careful for this question, okay, let's see. First we will see when the Mary Rose sank. Now first we will try to find when it sank, and then we will read all the options so that we can make a sense of it. The story of the ship and the long complex process of rediscovering might explain why there was some resistance to raising the endurance. Okay. The Mary Rose was discovered in the sea off the south coast of England in 1971. The ship King Henry VIII's favorite sank in 1545 during the battle. Okay, here is something about sinking of Mary Rose. Now what we will do is we will read this particular information till here, then we will read the option. So we will read it carefully. The ship King Henry VIII's favorite sank in 1545 during the Battle of Solent, killing all 500 people on board. So when this ship sank, it killed all the 500 people that were on board. Okay, let's see the options now. Only a few artifacts were recovered. Okay, so obviously this will not make any sense. People were reluctant to believe it. People did not believe it. Shipwrecks were more highly valued, so it's something about value, money. They were immediately brought to the surface. immediately brought to the surface. Everyone on board perished, like everyone that was on board perished. People believed the ship has been destroyed. So people believed ship has been destroyed. A large number of people started working on the project. So this is about number of people working on a project. There was no interest in raising the ship. So there was no interest in raising the ship. So it's something about endurance. I would have said, yeah, her daughter, or this particular person's daughter, Alexandra, she didn't want to raise the ship. Okay, so when Mary Rose sang, this is our location. Obviously, you have around 10 seconds to tell me if you have found the answer or not. What happened? What haven't done? Okay, so your 10 seconds start now. Okay, time's up. Let's see which answer you have marked out of from A to H. Yes, I am going to write the answer here. And the answer is E option. Everybody on board perished. Let me just mark it if I am able to do this. Yeah, everybody on board perished. So what does perish means? Perish means like finished. So vanished, disappeared, something like that. So in this particular context, if all 500 people, so all 500, what does all 500 mean? Like every person, every single one of the 500 people was killed during this particular battle. So everyone, all. I hope it is clear. Killing, perished. I hope it is clear. Okay, let's read the next question. When the Mary Rose's guns were found. So, when the guns of Mary Rose's were found, let's see what happened. What many do not realize is that there were attempts to raise the Mary Rose soon after it went down. So they're saying that do not many people do not realize this, that as soon as it went down, there were attempts to raise it. Cables connected to wrecks to two ships which sailed off in opposite directions in hope that resulting tension would bring the Mary Rose to the surface. So what they did was they connected cables to two ships, and they sailed those ships into opposite direction, hoping the tension from those two cables would raise the Mary Rose up to the surface. The last of these unsuccessful attempts took place in 1552, when it was almost 300, and it was to be almost 300 years before several of the ship's bronze and iron guns were rediscovered by divers. So they're saying that the last of these attempts took place in 1552, and it was to be almost 300 years. Okay, so when 300 years, since when the divers found the iron guns and bronze guns there. Okay, so let's read ahead. During the early 19th century, it was common practice to blow up shipwrecks, believing them to be dangerous to other ships. It was therefore assumed that Mary Rose was lost forever. So they're saying that during the early 19th century, it was common that people blew shipwrecks up. Why? Because they believed they were dangerous to other ships. They may, like other ships may stuck to them, or they may bump into them, and it may damage the other ship's hull or something like that. So that's why they blew up other shipwrecks with the help of detonators, bombs, whatever they used at that particular time. So it was therefore assumed that we had lost Mary Rose forever. Okay, so now this is the location. So when guns were found, so this is where the guns were found. After this, so now I will tell you what the 19th century means or this thing means, but first you have to tell me the answer. You have about 10 seconds for this to tell me the answer, and your 10 seconds start now. Okay, time's up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write the answer here, and answer to this question is F. People believed the ship had been destroyed. Sorry about that. Just 1 second, guys. Let me do this. Okay. People believed the ship had been destroyed. From where we found this? From the last sentence. It was therefore assumed that the ship was lost forever. So it had been destroyed. This is question number 7. I hope it is clear. Okay, let's read the other option. Only a few artifacts were recovered. Are they saying something like that? Like not all? No, but because we want to find about guns. Okay, people were reluctant to believe it, so there was nothing about people did not want to believe it. Highly valued, so there is nothing about money, like how much money it was worth or how much money shipwrecks were worth. Immediately brought to the surface. Okay, so it was no, there is no mention that sorry, they were immediately brought to the surface. Obviously we want to see when the guns were found, what happened. E we have done. F we have marked. Okay, sorry. F we have marked for this. People believed the ship had been destroyed. Okay. G, a large number of people. There is no mention of a large number of people working on this project and nothing about raising the ship. So now, how do we know that this 19th century? Okay, because they are talking about 1552. So 1552, if you add 300 to this, so what it comes to be 1852, and 1852 just refer to 19th century. Okay, so 300 years after 1552, people like divers started finding bronze guns and ship, but people assumed that Mary Rose was lost forever. So just I will take a minute or two for you of like off from you. So if you're talking about centuries, you should always write the year before that. For example, today right now it's 2025. So which century is it? 21st century, but we are writing 2025. So 20, forget about the 25, 20, so 20 somethings, 21st century. So if 19th century, how will write it? 18 something. So that's why 1552 plus 300, 1852, that means 19th century. From here, we have come to this particular conclusion that in the 19th century, people believed we lost Mary Rose forever. So people believed the ship had been destroyed. Okay, guns were found in 1852, 19th century. So that's why this is the answer. It was a bit tricky, I know, because if you are not aware of how centuries are written, so it will be tricky, but you should know. I have told this particular thing in many of my videos when this particular concept comes up. So you should be careful about that. Okay, let's read the eighth question. When the Mary Rose was rediscovered, let's see what happened when it was rediscovered. By the 20th century, okay, so we found in the 19th century, 300 years after this, and when it was brought to surface, here it was written something like that. Okay, 1982. So it was brought to surface. Sorry about that. It was brought to surface in 1982. So it was rediscovered. Is there something about this? Only few adverts, nothing about this. The story of this is this complex process. Okay, there is nothing. It is written just it how much it cost at that particular time. Only few artifacts, people reluctant, highly valued. immediate surface. There is nothing about that. Let's read further. By the 20th century, the attitude towards shipwrecks had changed. So, by the 20th century, the attitude changed towards the shipwrecks. Historians realized that a huge amount of information was contained within a ship that had been underwater for centuries. It was to widespread excitement that it was announced in 1971 that the Mary Rose had been discovered in the Solent off the coast of Portsmouth, England. By the end of the decade, the Mary Rose Trust had been formed to carry out the recovery of the ship and her contents. Trust appointed a wide range of staff, including administrators, conservators, fundraisers, and archaeologists. Artifacts sometimes still contained in the original chest were brought up, examined, recorded, and stored in the control room. Over 90 objects from cooking pots, cutlery to medical equipment, religious, this. Okay, so basically, attitude changed. What was the attitude? So, if you are a bit con- cautious about this, you must have remember that here they were saying that they don't want to like bring up Maryrose because of the cost, but now the historian said there is like positive thing if you get this particular thing because shipwreck they contain a lot of information. So according to this, what thing can we deduce here? And you have about 10 seconds to tell me the answer to this, because here it is obviously not clearly written, but we can infer it easily. So your time starts now. Time's up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write the answer here, and let's see if you were able to find out the correct answer or not. And the answer to this is C. Let me mark first, then I will tell you. Just let me write the location here so that it is easier for you when you want to revisit this. Okay, so here they're saying by the 20th century, attitude towards shipwrecks had changed. So by the 20th century, so attitudes had changed because we don't want to bring endurance up, because in the 21st century we don't want to bring the endurance up because of the cost involved, or said two, what were the two reasons? Basically not the cost. What were the two reasons? For one of the two reasons, that because of the technological progress, because we can shoot movies, we can make project 3D images of that particular shipwreck, so we don't need to bring that shipwreck up. But before that, the king, he wanted to like bring the Mary Rose up as soon as it went down. Here it is written. So they were like spending a lot of money on it. So in the past obviously they were valuing it more, but now we think that we can do whatever we want to get information about that particular thing. Okay, even from here we have like understood that there is a lot of information that is contained in the ship that has been underwater, but we can get that particular information with the help of 3D images and other technological equipment, so we don't need to get the shipwreck out of the water. So the attitude had changed to not bringing them out of water, but before that, what happened? Yes, it was like that. The shipwrecks were more valuable before this. So here shipwrecks were more highly valued. So when it was rediscovered, clear. That's why they wanted to bring Mary Rose out. But after that, after a lot of like failed attempts, or after spending a lot of money, now by the end of 20th century, we had change of heart. Are you getting my point? So, moving on to the next question, question number 9. After the foundation of the Mary Rose Trust, so let's see what happened. We have read something about the trust. It was to widespread excitement that it was announced in 1971 that Mary Rose had been discovered in the Solent of the coast of Portsmouth, England. By the end of the decade, Mary Rose Trust, here it is written, Mary Rose Trust had been formed to carry out the recovery of the ship and her contents. The trust appointed a wide range of staff, including administrators, conservators, fundraiser, and archaeologists. Artifacts, sometimes still contained in the original chest, were brought up, examined, recorded, and stored in a controlled environment. Over 19,000 objects, from cooking pots and cutlery to medical equipment and religious artifacts, were recovered, providing a fascinating insight into everyday life in the 16th century England. So these things has been done by the trust. So you have around 10 seconds to tell me whether A, B, D, G, or H. Which out of these options will be our answer? And your time starts now. Okay, time's up. Let me write the answer here. And the answer to this is option G. A large number of people started working on the project. So here it is written. Question 9. So because there is no mention of only a few, because there are a lot of artifacts, over 19,000. Let me mark it in red. Over 19,000. So you cannot say only a few. Sorry about that. Let me do this again. So you cannot say only a few because it was over 19,000. So they are like not few in any sense. People were reluctant to believe it. There is no mention of reluctant to believe in any question here. Immediately brought to the surface, there is no mention of this also, and no interest in raising the ship. This is true for endurance, not Mary Rose. So obviously, this is true for endurance. Clear? Moving on. Okay. To the last set of questions, 10 to 13. The Mary Rose was raised with the help of a specially designed. So till now we haven't read anything about how Mary Rose was raised or what type of equipment was used to raise Mary Rose. So obviously these answers should be ahead. Let me change the color first. This. It was always the intention of the Mary Rose Trust to raise the ship and preserve her for future generations. A committee of experts was set up to decide on the best method of lifting the hull out of water, and this was finally achieved in 1982. So here they are saying that method of lifting hull out of water. So here is something about raising Mary Rose out of the water. In the end, a purpose built lifting frame was commissioned and placed over the Mary Rose. The frame contained 11. Okay, so this is our location, and you have about 10 seconds to tell me this answer, and your time starts now. Okay, time's up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write the answer here and see if you were able to find the correct answer or not. Answer is lifting frame. I hope you were able to find the correct answer, but if not, let me tell you why this is our answer. But first, let me mark the location. So why it is lifting frame, because they are saying that best method. So what they did was, in the end, they built a purpose built lifting frame. So here they said specially designed. Here they said specially designed, and here they are saying purpose built. Let me do this. Here they're saying purpose built, and here is A. Obviously, here it is A. With the help of, So this was achieved. So with the help of what? With the help of a purpose-built lifting frame, and it was placed over Mary Rose. Okay, so if it was placed over Mary Rose, so it was placed to lift it up. Next question. A number of heavy dash were positioned above specific points of the rack. So there were a number of something. A number of can be paraphrased as uh, a lot of, or they can give you specific number, and they were like heavy. So here it is written were. So were just means there should be what kind of noun? Yes, plural noun. Were positioned above specific points of the rack. Okay, so you do should not get confused, because I this is like, you can say, a distractor word. Here it have said positioned above. Student will see placed above. So there should be, this must be lifting frame. No, it is a singular thing. A lifting frame. A lifting frame. But a number of heavy lifting frame were. So there should be plural here. So that's a very big indicator for you to understand. Let's see. The frame contained 11 cross beams, each weighing 2 tons, to be placed over the 11 strongest points of the ship. Okay. So obviously your answer is in this particular sentence, and you have some time to tell me the answer, and time starts now. Okay, time's up. Now I'm gonna write the answer here. The answer is cross beams. Let me mark the answer first, then I will explain it to you. Okay, can you tell me where it is written a number of heavy and positioned over specific points of the rack? If you have found the answer, if you haven't, if you were not able to tell me this particular answer, don't worry, listen very carefully. So instead of a number of, they have written 11. So 11 mean a number of, obviously. So for heavy, they have written, sorry, weighing 2 tons. Obviously 2 tons, it's a lot of weight. So, and positioned over, placed over. Specific points, 11 strongest points of the ship, of the wreck of the ship. So our answer is cross beams. I hope it is clear. Moving on to the 12th question. Bolts and cables. So these are our locator words. Could only be put in place due to the construction of a number of something under the ship. So here should be number of something, again a part of ship or equipment, some kind of equipment. So bolts, and we can only, they could only be put in place. So we can only use bolts and cables because we have made a construction, we have made a number of something under the ship. So under the ship we have made something, and because of those something or that particular thing, we were able to use bolts and cables. Okay, let's see. Under each of the lifting points, tunnels had to be dug beneath the hull to get bolts and wires into position. Okay, here it is bolts and cables, bolts and wires. Cables and wires, one of the same thing, obviously. Okay, so this is our location. You have again around 10 seconds to tell me the answer, and your time starts now. Okay, time's up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write the answer here and see whether you were able to find out the correct answer or not. Our answer is tunnels. Let me mark here. tunnels. So I have told you these are written bolts and cables. So where it is written under the ship, if you were not able to find it, or if you were able to find it, can you tell me where it is under the ship? Where is this location? Yes, beneath the hull. So what is hull? Hull is the like front part of the ship, basically. Frame of the ship, you can say. Clear? Into position. So in particular position, like put in place. I hope you are getting my point. Moving on to the next question, last question number 13. After gradually lifting the hull, a crane was used for the underwater transfer to something. So after we have, sorry about that, after we have lifted the hull, okay, then we used a crane, okay, to transfer underwater to something. So we had to transfer underwater to something else, particular thing. Let's see what we transferred it to. The legs of the lifting frame were extended gradually over a period of days, and once the wreck was hanging, it was moved while still underwater to a cradle and using a huge crane. So here is something about crane. Rack was hanging, lifting the hull. Okay, so this is our location, and you have about 10 seconds to tell me the answer to this particular question, and your time starts now. Okay, time's up. I'm gonna write the answer here. A cradle. Let me mark the answer first. So, where I hope you got this answer easily. If not, let me explain it to you. So, here they are saying after lifting the hull. So, after lifting the hull, they have written when the wreck was hanging. Once the wreck was hanging, after like doing something, once it has happened, okay, it was moved while still underwater. So, underwater to a cradle. So, here it was moved. So, it basically referred to the particular thing, okay, and still underwater it was moved to, oh sorry about that, it was moved to a cradle using huge crane. Okay, a crane was used using huge crane. I hope you got all the answers. So okay, so that means this last paragraph is like serves no purpose. Let me read this. This was one of the hardest parts of the procedure, as the legs of the lifting frame had to lift it, the holes on the cradle. Finally, the hull of the famous ship was transferred to a barge and brought into Portsmouth Harbour. Since going on display, Portsmouth the Mary Rose has been preserved through complex and expensive processes. It is fascinating to visit her in her port of origin, yet one can understand the concern of those involved in the discovery of Endurance. Technology has given us the means to experience the historic ship through film and photography with much less expense than raising and displaying her in a museum. Perhaps the Shackleton family is right to let the great explorer's ship rest in peace. Okay, so this is something else. This is the opinion of the writer, so we don't have to worry about that because there is no question regarding this. So I hope you were able to understand how to solve this particular passage, this particular reading. And if you are able not able to understand any particular question, any particular like set of the questions, you are more than welcome to watch the video again, or that part of the video again which is not clear. And if you want to watch more such videos, you can go to our channel. There will be a lot of videos there. Okay, and one more thing before signing off: if you're struggling with your writing and or speaking, like if you are not able to get band 7 or more in your writing and or speaking, and you don't know why, you have like given peer exams multiple times, still you are stuck at 6 or 6.5, but don't know where you are going wrong, you can enroll in our video course. We have made one of the most detailed, if not the most detailed video course on IELTS. It cover all the 4 modules, be it writing, speaking, listening and reading. We have covered in-depth question types of all the all in reading and listening, all the types of questions or writing, task 1 and task 2 for both academic and GT. Similarly, in speaking, we have covered all part 3 in depth. We will teach you tried and tested structures that has helped thousands of students to get band 7 or more in their writing and or speaking and move to their dream country, be it on work visa or on study basis. So if you are stuck just because of IELTS, just because of your 8777, you should enroll in our video course, and it would help you to get the desired band score and complete your dream. If you want our writing correction service, or if you want to book our one-to-one speaking slot, you can do it also. We will mark your writing, we will take your speaking and tell you which areas you need to work on, what are your weaknesses or what are your strengths, and if you want to achieve a particular band score, what you need to do to achieve that particular band score. So you will get everything on our website, and the link to my website is in my bio, so you can go there and visit our website for more info. With this is the end of this particular video. I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care and goodbye.